You know how you see omega-3s slapped on pet food labels and supplements and you just think, oh, great, that's the healthy stuff. But what if I told you that most of what's out there is, well, kind of missing the point? Today, we're going to go way beyond the marketing hype to uncover the real science behind what makes these healthy fats actually work for our dogs and cats.
So let's just start with a huge question. Is that healthy oil you're adding to your pet's bowl right now doing them any good at all? Or, and this is a tough thought, could it even be doing more harm than good? It's a lot to think about, I know, but trust me, by the end of this, you'll be able to answer that question for yourself.
All right, so to really get to the truth here, we have to start with a fundamental idea. Not all omega-3s are the same, not even close. It really all comes down to where they come from. And lucky for us, our pet's own evolutionary history gives us the perfect roadmap.
Okay, this slide really lays out the fundamental split. Over on the left, you've got your plant-based omega-3, which is called ALA. You see it in things like flaxseed and soy oils. It's cheap, so a lot of pet foods love to use it. But here's the kicker. Dogs can barely, and I mean barely, convert that ALA into a form their bodies can use. And for cats, it's pretty much impossible. What they really truly need are the omega-3s on the right, EPA and DHA, which come from animal sources, ready to go.
And this right here, this shows you exactly why. I mean, think about it. For thousands and thousands of years, the ancestors of our pets got their omega-3s from eating prey. You know, fish, birds, other little critters. Their bodies are literally hardwired to use animal-based fats. They're just not built to process a bunch of plant oils. So a diet without these specific animal fats leads to a deficiency, no matter what the fancy label on the bag says.
So we know it's got to be animal-based omega-3. But we can get even more specific. We need to zoom in on the two big players, EPA and DHA. They're like this dynamic duo, and each one has a very specific and very important job to do. Just take a look at this breakdown. The easiest way to think about EPA is as the body's inflammation firefighter, right? It's the one that rushes in to directly tamp down the production of inflammatory stuff in the body. It's absolutely essential for handling things like joint pain or an overactive immune system.
But DHA? Oh, DHA is a whole different beast. It's the resolution architect. See, it doesn't just put out the fire. It actually rebuilds the house afterward. It's the building block for these amazing molecules called resolvins and protectins that literally switch off the inflammatory process and tell the body, okay, time to repair. This is beyond critical for the brain, for the eyes, for the whole nervous system. So EPA quiets the noise, but DHA makes sure it doesn't come back.
So we're on the same page. We need animal-based EPA and DHA. Simple enough, right? Well, this is where we get into the hidden truths, the stuff that most manufacturers really don't want to talk about. It comes down to two words: bioavailability and stability. Basically, can your pet's body even use the fat, and has it gone bad? These are the real game changers.
Now, this first one all comes down to a pretty technical concept called SN2 positioning. I know, it sounds complicated, but stick with me, it's actually pretty cool. Imagine a fat molecule is like a tiny dumbbell. When your pet digests it, the ends or the weights of the dumbbell get clipped off. But the fatty acid in the very middle, that's the SN2 position, it gets absorbed whole. It's like having a VIP pass, an express lane straight into the most important tissues, like the brain and the eyes.
And this is why the source of the fish oil matters so much. Look at this slide. Your typical oils from, say, anchovy or salmon, they have very little of their DHA in that all-important SN2 spot. But then you look at sources like krill and fish roe, they are loaded with it. That makes them incredibly bioavailable. See, it's not just about how much DHA is in the oil, it's about how much can actually get to where it needs to go. And now for that second hidden truth. And folks, this one is huge. It's oxidation. DHA is an incredibly delicate, fragile molecule. The moment it gets exposed to heat or light or even just air, it starts to go rancid. And an oxidized, rancid oil doesn't just lose its benefits, it actually creates harmful free radicals that can cause inflammation. It literally turns a potential medicine into a poison.
This stability chart tells a really dramatic story. Up at the top, you've got oils like krill. They're naturally super stable because they're in a special form called a phospholipid, and they have their own built-in antioxidant called astaxanthin. But as you work your way down this list, things get sketchier and sketchier. And then, look at the very bottom, ethyl ester oil. This is an artificial, super-processed, highly unstable form. And the research is crystal clear on this. Do not feed these. They're often already rancid before you even break the seal.
Okay, whoa, that was a lot of science, I know. So what does all of this mean for you when you're trying to buy a supplement for your pet. How do we put this all together into a guide that actually makes sense? Well, let's do it. Let's create a clear hierarchy of the best sources. And here we have it. The gold medal, without a doubt, goes to krill oil. Why? It's simple. It delivers its DHA in that superabsorbable phospholipid form, and it has its own bodyguard, that antioxidant astaxanthin, which makes it incredibly stable. Salmon roe oil is a very close silver. And way down at the bottom, there it is again, that artificial ethyl ester oil, which you should just always avoid. This ranking right here combines both of those hidden truths we just talked about, bioavailability and stability.
All right, now for the most important part of this whole thing. How do you actually use this information? Let's build a simple action plan so you can start making the absolute best choices for your pet, like today.
You know, a lot of times, the best and safest way to do this is just by feeding a little bit of fresh fish. Here's how you can figure out exactly how much. On the left, find your pet's ideal daily dose. So for example, a 10-kilo dog, that's about 22 pounds, needs around 500 to 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined per day. Now, just pop over to the chart on the right. You can see that about 50 to 60 grams of sardines or herring, boom, that gets you right in that sweet spot.
Now, if you are using an oil, you have to protect it. It's not optional. Always store it in a dark, airtight container and keep it in the fridge. And here's a pro tip. Don't buy those giant value-size bottles to save a few bucks. The more air that gets in that bottle as you use it, the faster it goes rancid. And finally, trust your nose. Fresh oil should have a mild, oceanic smell. If it smells sharp or metallic or kind of like old paint, it's rancid. Toss it. It's not worth the risk. And there's just one last piece to this puzzle we have to talk about, and that's the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. See, most processed kibbles are just loaded with pro-inflammatory omega-6 fats, sometimes at a crazy ratio of 30 to 1. That basically creates a constant, low-level state of inflammation in your pet's body, which means their need for high-quality anti-inflammatory omega-3s goes way up, just to try and find some balance.
So if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. Just seeing the words omega-3 on a label, that's just the start of the story. It means almost nothing. Without the right molecular structure for absorption and without strict control to prevent oxidation, that promise of health is pretty much empty. But now you have the knowledge to look right past that label and find the truth.